and I'm the one who wants to be with you. Hold on, little girl, show me what he's done to you. Stand up, little girl, a broken heart can't be that bad when it's true. It's true. Fate will twist the both of you. Come on, baby.
Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Guitar Wishes, and this is Lee, and I'm here with the incredible, that's right, incredible,
I heard you.
Eric Martin,
right.
lead singer of Mr. Big, and Eric Martin band back in the day, still actually going out and playing some Eric Martin shows. You wrote a musical, is it an opera?
Well, I didn't write it. I'm a part of it.
A part of it, yeah.
Hi, folks. I'm Eric Martin's father, hence the glasses. No, I'm part of a rock opera. I've been with this group. It's called Group. It's huge. It's a mega power metal kind of band.
Right.
And it has 6 singers from all around the world. 6, 7 singers, all guys from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and beyond.
Right.
It's called Avantasia.
Avantasia.
Yeah, this guy Tobias Sammet is the creator guy, singer, phenomenal singer, and a lot of Norwegians, Germans, British, famous singers in it.
Right.
And then the 2 Americans, 3 Americans actually. Adrian Cowan is a kind of a metal singer, great singer, and then me and Jeff Tate.
Oh, Jeff Tate, yeah, that's incredible, man. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't ask about COVID the past year and a half. You know, I know guys who said, hey, man, a year and a half off, I'm going to lay around in bed. And I know guys who said, hey, year and a half off, I'm going to write a new album. You know, did you find yourself being creative during that period?
Yeah, with Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yeah.
And food and booze.
Yeah.
I put so many things on the back burner. And I had a bunch of, could have played some online stuff.
Sure.
I did a lot of interviews and podcasts and all that stuff. But no, I didn't do crap. I was pretty much taxi dad for about a year and a half. I got back from Europe in 2020, like in January. And then in February, that's, I think that's when the whole thing started
really
exploding, imploding, whatever, and lockdowns and all that. I live in California.
Right.
And it was gnarly. I was freaked out because I'm older and I thought I'd be more susceptible.
Sure.
Plus, I'm unlucky.
Yeah.
And I barricaded myself even before the lockdown.
Yeah.
I already had 15, 16 rolls of toilet paper, so
ready to go.
I was good. I had some,
Lasts about 3 days in my house.
No, I know, it's kind of crazy, but I had a freezer, full of fucking meat. I was fine.
Yeah.
Sorry for cussing, but I didn't leave the house. I mean, I basically spent a lot of time on the telephone, watching them. Like what was that show? There was a show. All the Netflix stuff,
Sure.
like the Netflix is coming. I went through Netflix and Amazon that first 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And I just basically cried for a year and a half. Me and PJ Farley from Trickster and now Fozzy. Yeah, we got to talk about him. Anyway, good guy. And him and I did some COVID comfortable kind of gigs where they were outside. And this is before people even started getting that idea. I mean, people wore masks, but they were far apart. They had this thing. It was I played this one gig in Cleveland, and they had do you have Big 5 lots? You call it Big 5, where you rent stuff, right?
Sure, yeah.
So they rented these sort of white kind of pens, that look like cattle pens or something, right?
Yeah, everybody's segregated. Into
Right.
Sections.
And they had that with tables and chairs, with like a couple or a family, and they'd have all over the place outside at this gig. And me and PJ were on the top of this, what felt like a refrigerator storage thing. We were like 20 feet high. Nobody's going to catch a cold or anything on this thing. And we played a 2-hour show, and we did a few of those. But that didn't really wet my whistle. I'm used to playing between Mr. Big, acoustic stuff, this the gigs that I do with PJ and Steve Brown from Trickster
Oh,
and
sure.
Joey Casada.
Mm-hmm.
We have a thing, Eric Martin featuring them, you know,
Right.
electric stuff. And then, like I said, Avantasia, you know, a good 80 shows a year or more.
Right. Right.
And so when it went down to, hey, my tour, 6 shows, I mean, oh my God,
Yeah.
devastated. As a performer, and also, I mean, I totally got what was going on in the world. Oh my God, I spent too many hours watching YouTube and CNN
Right.
and reading the news, and it was all negative. You know, politics these last couple of years have
Absolutely.
gone through the frickin' roof.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. I know that COVID is worse, but
Right.
politics is right up there as well. I mean,
Yeah. And when you combine
that's not right up there, folks. Trust me, I get it.
Yeah.
But politics, it's just been driving me completely nuts.
Yeah.
I never used to. I mean, I paid attention.
Right.
I mean, God, I had Billy Sheehan and Pat Torpey, staunchest Republicans you'd ever want to meet in your whole life.
Yeah.
And hearing them talk about politics, but not preaching.
Sure.
I felt like I've been preached at for 2 years, you know, crazy.
And when you have the politics and the COVID happening all at the same time, it's overwhelming. I found that I had to just excuse myself from the news and the TV for a little bit. It was going to drive me crazy.
Yeah.
So,
But you said you had, you know, your kids.
yeah.
Right. Now, I have kids too.
Yeah.
But they were, you know, they're 16-year-old twins.
Yeah.
They found a way to, I mean, they were playing basketball, masks, the whole bit, you
Sure.
know, but, you know, they're 16 and I don't have to, they take care of themselves.
Yeah.
They go, Dad, can I borrow? You know, that's all I get. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and well, you famously took a break from music, about a 4-year break when you had your kids. So Jacob,
I did.
Jacob
I did
and
back
Dylan.
in the day. I
Jacob
did.
and Dylan.
Perfect timing too.
Hey guys.
Jake and Dylan. I just wrote my sons and I said, I'm in Hickory, North Carolina.
Mhm.
I go, you know, it's outside of Charlotte, Hickory, North Carolina. And they go, Madison Bumgarner.
That's right.
And I'm like, that's where he's from, Dad. Like, probably everybody knows him in that town. So,
Yeah, you're from right down the street. Yeah. One of our famous celebrity citizens. But yeah, so do they? I know you've said that they show some interest in music. I mean, Dylan the singer. I mean, do you see that happening someday?
so a long, long time ago, before, you know, Mr. Big, we'd broken up for a little while.
Right.
Paul quit in the 90s, and then Richie Kotzen came in for a couple albums.
Yeah.
Great.
2 of my favorite albums, by the way.
Mine too.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean, look, I love Lean Into It, but I think what he did with Actual Size was just I put it right up there.
Yeah.
More pop kind of sounding, but
Yeah.
still rocks out great.
I like Static.
Yeah,
Richie.
yeah, oh yeah. And it was look, I got to tell you, it was my idea to do the whole, him and I being, I mean, I sang the majority of the songs, but it was my idea to put this sort of Righteous Brothers
Yeah.
of the 90s or whatever.
Mhm.
And because he's such a great singer, why waste that on
He is.
just guitar? No offense.
He
You know,
is.
He's a
and-
phenomenal guitar player, but he's a great singer as well.
Yeah.
So him and I did, you know, Static, Shine, Suffocation, I think
Oh,
was
yeah.
on that album.
Yes, it is.
And we wrote another song together called You Don't Have to Be Strong. Kids, check that song out. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of Hall & Oates. But anyway, long story short, you know, the band broke up for a little while, and then we got back together in 2009.
Right.
But I reached out to Billy,
Mhm.
and I said, hey, my son, Dylan, is showing interest in playing bass guitar.
Yeah.
Granted, look, I wanted to reach out to Billy anyway, but I thought, let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or an olive branch or some way.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't, you know, I genuinely missed the guy as well, right?
Sure.
So, and he got back to me right away and said, I asked him, does Yamaha make a left-handed bass? He goes, no, we don't, but I'll look around for one. And this was going to be for Dylan's birthday.
Mhm.
So, didn't hear anything. You know, he said he'd get back to me, and he sent a couple of emails like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing okay, you. And
Yeah.
I didn't say anything about the band. I didn't want to
Sure.
bring that crap up. Anyway, So Christmas time rolls around, big box comes to the house, and it's a left-handed bass that he found at a pawn shop, actually, and kind of doctored it up,
Yeah.
put a Billy Sheehan decal on it
Yeah.
that has, his famous skeleton
Right.
with
Sure.
like this kind of Australian bush hat on it, and an instructional book accompanied with a video. So it's so surreal to Christmas time. There's my son playing music, which is chills,
Sure.
and then hearing Billy Sheehan's voice in the background. I'm videoing him. He's like, "What you want to do is hold the bass,
Yeah. Yeah.
study, look at it, just feel the power, So, and then directly, Mr. Big got back together too.
Right.
From all of that. He took lessons, and we actually played a show on, years ago. God, I think he might have been 10 or 11. It was on Father's Day, and it was in my hometown, Northern California, and he played To Be With You, actually, on bass. His first song he learned was Money by Pink Floyd. So, I mean, kind of almost on the same line as The Ocean by Zeppelin.
Sure.
The timing.
Surprisingly difficult timing.
Very much so, especially for a 10-year-old. So, but he kind of did it for maybe a year and a half, maybe a year and a summer, who knows. And then my son Jacob actually played piano for a little while. And they listened to all my music. They loved it. Got videos of them with my son's got a ukulele that he got in Hawaii, and he's bouncing on his bed. And we had the wall was a chalkboard.
Mm-hmm.
Got to remember that too.
Yeah.
They're going to write on the wall anyway, so might as well make it a chalkboard.
Yeah.
So there's a chalkboard. We wrote Dylan Martin Project, did a ukulele, and he's like talking to the camera. Goes, yeah, should I play Daddy's song? And he's banging the ukulele. Son, you got to take care of your instruments. Bang, bang, bang. And they go, yeah, play To Be With You. And my son Jacob, sorry, I'm just going on and on. It's such a great story. So my wife Denise is videoing it, and we're watching. And Dylan's got the acoustic guitar. Should I play Daddy's song? And Jacob has got a plastic microphone, and he's bouncing on the bed, right? So they got all these stuffed animals that they had, and that's the audience, right?
Yeah.
And he's going, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dylan Martin. And he goes, okay, yes, thank you. Bowing. He's this big. He's so cute. And he goes, I'm the one who wants to be with you. Deep inside, I hope you feel it too. I'm the one who wants to be with you. And he's got this deer in the headlights stare. He's like, what? And Jacob off camera goes, greens and blues. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Proud parent moment.
Oh. And, they did it for a little while, and then basketball came in, and they are just sports kids now.
Yeah, everybody's got to have their
Yeah. But he knows what I do. Mm-hmm. I got this other story that I don't think I've ever told before. Or I've told it a couple of times, but never on camera. So the two of them come, they might have been 13, maybe younger. They came to Tokyo, Japan, and Mr. Big is selling out Budokan Arena.
Right.
And they're bored, we're doing a sound check, and our sound checks always lasted 2 hours. And they're walking around, and they have a lay of the land. The guys are like, hey boys, they love them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Dylan and Jacob are just walking around, and they had a Nerf football, and they're throwing it in the legendary Budokan, throwing it. And the sound engineer, Michelle, she's like, really? Okay, yeah. And I go, boys, got to do something else. Why don't you go wander around a little bit? And they're both thinking. And they had 2 guards with them. Japanese security guards
Right.
with the walkie-talkie, the whole bit, right? And then Jacob goes, "Dad, can we go anywhere we want?" I go, "Yeah, anywhere we want." "Can we go to every bathroom in the venue?" I'm like, "Yeah, you got a laminate, knock yourself out," right? And they went to about 75 bathrooms in Budokan Arena. It's classic. Anyway, enough about the Martin boys.
Well, that's
right.
awesome. That Budokan, was that the show that was filmed for the 2009 Back to Budokan? Was that show?
That could have been it, yeah.
Yeah, because that era for Mr. Big, to me, was like a return to greatness. That album, What If?
Yeah.
It ranks up there with being one of my favorite Mr. Big albums. Raw, intense, incredibly well written. The musicianship was incredible. It came out with Undertow,
Yeah, Paul Gilbert. Great song, man.
Oh,
when
man.
we heard that, we were like, we're back, which is a good thing, but like, we're back with some,
and it didn't stop.
Some gifts.
That was the first song on the album all the way through. American Beauty was incredible.
That was good.
All of this stuff.
American Beauty actually is an old-ass song.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was called, we wrote it for the first album, actually. It was called Trapped in the City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was called Trapped in the City. Totally different, some different words, but some are the same words.
Right.
And we just kind of looked at our old bag of tricks. I go, man, I've written a new lyric to this thing. Let's revisit this song. So
Right.
yeah, American Beauty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Over that, Around the World.
Oh,
Incredible.
that was another. I think that was Paul and Pat had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, you talk about
Yeah.
Pat. For those of you who don't know, Pat was one of the best singing drummers out there. He had an incredible vocal range.
Like Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was almost like John and Paul for you and Pat.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, were talking about Richie earlier. I think
John.
that's John.
Let's do it. Hey, thank God this ain't live. I was going like, John Lennon wasn't in the band. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it.
No, I was just going to say that you and Pat were kind of like the John and Paul in Mr. Big.
I've said that before. People misunderstood. They go, it's almost like, remember when the Beatles said, when John Lennon goes, we're bigger than Jesus or something like that, which was like a totally out of content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with me. I go, how Pat Torby was to me, was like, I was John Lennon, he was Paul McCartney.
Right.
And people were like, what? The Beatles? I'm like, oh, God, get over your damn self. I just trying to come up with an analogy,
Right.
Yeah, Pat was my, even, when he it was starting to get into those second and third stages of Parkinson's.
Right.
We toured still, he goes, maybe I should just stay home. And we had the sub drummer picked out named Matt Starr. And I go, no way. Are we just going to go out with Matt? Pat, you have to go out with us.
Mm-hmm.
We came up with this idea that he'd have this cocktail kit on the side.
Right.
He'd play percussion. But I go, you're so needed because you're the anchor of this band, spiritual energy, and your voice, dude. Me and Billy and Paul can't cut it without you.
Right.
Billy had a super high voice. Paul had kind of a lower tenor at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then me, but Pat was the glue that held the harmony together.
Right.
He was my second in command as the vocal captain.
Right.
So, he was so needed when he was on the road. I'm so glad that he made that decision and said that he was going to tour with us.
There's some great video on YouTube from those final tour.
Yeah.
And you can really tell, and I think that's going back to the Richie Kotzen years. When you put Richie in that mix with you and Pat.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you've never checked out some of that stuff, go check out some of the stuff they did with Richie back in the day.
Yeah, the album was Get Over It.
Get Over
and
It.
the other one was Actual Size.
Actual Size.
I knew Richie when he was 18 years old. I met him through, I just spit, by the way. if my DNA gets on you,
I'm selling.
I'm clean. I'm good. I'm good. I've been vaccinated.
That's okay.
I'm all good, bro. Anyway, that's never happened on the camera.
We'll edit that out. Don't worry about it.
I can do it again if you want to do a second take.
Well, you can.
Yeah, but I knew Richie. I met him through Mike Varney, who, Mike Varney introduced me to Billy Sheehan. He was the guy that actually put Mr. Big together, not just me and Billy, So when Richie, I'm starting to hear that you really like the Richie years as well. Me too, man.
I really do.
Hey, Paul Gilbert.
I love
He
Paul.
was the original guy. We did all that stuff, but when he left, we were like, oh God, how do we fill this dude's size 13 shoes,
Yeah.
And when Richie came along, actually, I was playing this gig in my hometown, just a Eric Martin gig, and it was called the 4th Street Tavern. It's on 4th Street in San Rafael. Playing this gig, and I think I was doing 2 sets, and I'm playing this gig, and this guy came off the street, like the door's right here, and he kind of a homeless guy came in and goes, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And he had like jagged ass teeth, and his hair's all messed up, and he had these kind of raggedy, poor hobo kind of clothes, and I'm going, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna take a little break and come back, play like 6, 7 more songs, and then we're gonna party it up late. I'm gonna be dancing with your wives in a minute." So this guy, and he's talking to me at the same time. I go, hey, hold on, man. I go, all right, second set, and get the sound guy to play some music.
Yeah.
So the band's looking at me, and I'm going, okay. I take this guy outside. I go, hey, buddy, and I'm reaching in my pocket to pull out like a 5 or a 10 spot to give this guy. He goes, hey, okay, hey, what's going on? I can't remember what he said. He's like, and I go, you need some money? And he goes like, I don't want your money. He was just doing his thing, and I hadn't been privy to Kotzon's thing.
Yeah.
Right? So he had some fake teeth in, and I looked at him, and he's got these eyes, too. He's got devilish-looking blue eyes, and I go, Kotzon? And he goes, how'd you know it was me? I'm like, oh, God, you freak. And then we're talking, and he goes, yeah, I'm playing a gig somewhere down here. And I go, oh, it's so good to see you, kid. He was in his late 20s then. And, or maybe he was, yeah. And I go, immediately, light bulb went off, and I go, Paul Gilbert quit. And he goes, yeah, I heard. I played, Billy and Pat played on one of my solo albums. And I go, would you consider being in Mr. Big? And he goes, I may be paraphrasing this or just embellishing just for the camera, but I could totally, as soon as I said it, he had this look like, I don't know. And I'm like thinking, yeah, Poison.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, you want to be in another band that you have to fill somebody's shoes, And he said he was, and it was a hard sell too, because he said he was playing with Stanley Clarke at the time.
Yeah.
In a band called, it's not In Vitro. That would be weird. But it was something like that. But I went, Mr. Big, and he's talking to Stanley Clarke, and this kid, he loved jazz and progressive rock and all that. And I was like, oh God, this is gonna be a hard sell. But he goes, all right, let me think about it. Man, a couple weeks later, yay, Richie Kotzon's in the band. I mean,
it was great.
And again, nothing to do with Paul Gilbert.
No, I love Paul's stuff.
Yeah, but we don't have to say that. Nothing to do with him. But Paul went off to do a solo career, and he was totally successful at it.
Absolutely.
And it's something that there was stages in his life. He wanted to do that. Good for you, bro.
Yeah.
And we were so lucky to get Richie.
Yeah.
I mean, only 2 albums, kind of a bummer. But
they're great. They're worth seeking out for those of you who haven't heard those. But,
yes, they are.
But
look how serious this guy.
But I won't keep you. But I just wanted to go back. Now you're on the road with Ben, Hans, and PJ Farley doing acoustic shows.
And the only reason why I'm laughing because I see in the marquee, not the marquee, but the advertisement on the website.
Yeah.
And our promoter just must love Ben Hans so much because it says legendary percussionist Ben Hands. Hey, look, anything to get those bodies in, that's okay.
That's right. But
He's a great drummer, though.
He
Plays with Kip Winger.
Oh, yeah.
He's a percussionist. And then you mentioned, and then PJ Farley, bass player for Trickster and Fozzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have this acoustic thing, and we just have such a blast. Yeah.
Well, the last thing I want to ask you before we wrap up is if Eric Martin from today could go back and talk to Eric Martin in 1991 and give him a piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say, what the hell are you wearing? You have flames on your leather pants. What are you thinking? Or like, you're wearing a vest with a sheriff's badge on it. Who are you? But I would also say, don't listen to your girlfriend. Don't cut your hair. Yeah.
I got you.
Girlfriends, wives. They'd always go, you would look so good in your short hair. And so I cut it. Nobody knew who I was for years, right? I would walk down the street in my own neighborhood, and they're like, nah. And it never grew back right. You know, that's why I keep cutting it short. I have curly hair.
Yeah.
It just goes, yeah. So yeah, I would say, don't cut your hair. Like, what the hell are you wearing?
Awesome. Well, man, thanks so much. Good luck for tonight, and I can't wait for the show. Everybody, the legendary Mr. Eric Martin. Thanks so much.
Well, now let's start the interview over.
All right, take care.
Chasing one more dragon, the poison apple clove. Ever love some Batman when the monkey's in control? My father after lost my everything. Gotta keep my head above water. At the bottom of the bottle and sing. Don't you cry, don't give me your sad lullabies. There's a hard rain, and it's gonna be okay. My heart's on bend from needles and sins. I'm shallow breathing in, drawn out of the hole, back in the show. Finally got the joke back under my skin. I still fragile.
Cruising for a bruising.